Hello everyone for our first main Arch Nemesis League video. So we're finally going to start playing this league 3 weeks after it started, give or take. So played Lost Ark for about a couple weeks now, liked it a lot. Still going to play, finally got the tier 2, so I'm going to play that back and forth between this and that. But last time to finally start playing some POE again. It's been a while. So when it first came out, I played the first 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, first 4 days for about a couple hours. Roughly, I bought a lot of stuff, so it's hard to say, but pretty much I just did not do anything except for heist, just because I wanted to save all the mapping for the actual league character. So I've done one map. So everything's still fresh. Only at one point here, so don't have anything done. But pretty much, yeah, we're just gonna do everything. I logged on the 5 days, which I was playing when I got the maps. I just got the maps made because I just wanted to see this, make sure it was still correct and everything. Just an idea. But I'm going to pretty much delete this character and restart from a new character. The character, I farmed about a mirror shard and about 4x during the heist stuff. So I sold the mirror shard, had about 15 exalts, give or take, between everything I had to buy everything. To buy a base gear set, to at least have like some leveling items, have some 120 gems, all that kind of stuff. So the build I'm going to be playing is Hexblast Ignite with the Black Flame Chaos damage. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm actually just the POB to myself. POB is an absolute mess. We're negative mana reservation, which I got to try to fix that problem, which I have ideas, but pretty much nothing on this build is crafted. I got to craft everything still. All the clustered jewels. I just bought one set. These need to be all self-crafted. Like, I just bought an 8 passive fire with 2 burning damages. I have a really shitty Watcher's Eye. Only thing the Watcher's Eye give me is just inflict damage faster. This is for when we go max chaos res. Intuitive leap, and I bought one random jewel for 2 chaos. It just has armor, life, burning damage. Boots, I probably won't be using these anymore. I just bought shaper boots to craft the avoid elements because I was trying to figure out how to put parity elements and Tempest Shield in the build together. You know, gloves, they're just an armor, ES, 86 random base. Stygian, 86, not crafted. Ignites deal faster, needs to be crafted. Black Flame, Agus Aurora for defense. Skin and Loyal, I just bought this because it's cheaper than Brass Dome. Brass Dome is probably going to be the final version. I just got to get the currency for it. You know, a scepter that we have to craft. Maven's Helmet with Malevolence. I sniped this for 10 chaos, so I couldn't really pass it up. You definitely do have to have Malevolence or Purity of Elements or Determination in there if you want to run all these auras. We're going to try using Ashes to start. I bought the shittiest one in line I can buy. Going to have to put a lot of divines in this to get this to the 20 reservation plus the 30 quality. It's going to be a lot of divines, but we're going to go for it. I still need to get the golden oils. I still got to get a lot of gear still for this character. This is just a super base version. Like, all the flasks up here are not even crafted. This is the only decent one I have with movement speed. But pretty much like all of these need to be crafted. Gems, I just threw it together, whatever. I still have open gem slots in here. I don't know if this is correct. I just did whatever I thought would be interesting. So I just saw on POB, I'll show after this, but pretty much I just bought Divergent Malevolence. I just took a Determination for the armor and light in level 3. With the helmet, when we divine this, we level 5. You know, I want to get Tempest Shield and Purity of Elements in this build. I just got to figure out how. Skin of Loyal. This is just the cheaper version of Brass Dome for 20 chaos. But I think it was 15 I bought it for. But pretty much I was able to snipe this Divergent Hexblast. It was a 2020 originally, but I got this for 3 exalts. Normal leagues, these go for 10 exalts, so because it's so cheap, that's the reason why I'm playing Hexblast Ignite as a late league start build. I don't know if this is any good or not. It's just something I wanted to try last league. It's just last league this build was overpriced, like 5 exalts, 3 exalts, 10 exalts, just for like the base items. You know, we're gonna try it with, you know, at chaos damage, burning damage, deadly elements, unbound elements, and inspiration. The inspiration is definitely a placeholder. I don't know what's the best option. Like inspiration, you have empower, you have deadly Swift Affliction, I think is the other one. Like, any of those 3 are the best in slot. I just don't know which one's the best. The problem is if you run Swift Affliction, you need a lot of dexterity. And dexterity is definitely something dexterity will starve a lot in this build. But we're just going to run this as cheap to get going, why not? And all the Awakening Gems, level 5, are like 1 Exalt. So once I get the currency, I'm just going to buy level 5 Awakening Gems to replace all these since they're so cheap. Pretty much Aegis Aurora is just another defensive layer for this build, because I built this build to be a very defensive tank. Because I played this build in Ultimatum League and I did like it. It was pretty much the one I did all the Ultimatum maps with the like doubling your exalts and all that. But that was the Templar version. I want to try the Witch one now, because this one gets around the Hexproof. But Despair for our Curse, which we're used for bossing. And then Vitality and Defiance Banner, just for more armor, Vitality, more regen. Flame Dash, you know, I have extra slots up here, so I'm going to try doing Cast Damage Taken and Mortal Shell combo. I don't know if this is the best, or if I should do the, what's the other one called? Well, I forgot the other gem. I'll figure out later. Blasphemy, Time Change, the normal combination you have to do. And then since we're doing Black Flame, we're doing the Spell Totem, Faster Casting, Multi-Totem, and Wither setup. You don't need Faster Casting, it's just an extra slot I had, so why not throw it on there? Is this build going to work? I have zero idea. I'm just hoping for the best. I have some random leveling gear here that I got. Like a shitty tablet I had from originally, Gold Rim, 2 Axum ones just to level a little bit faster. You know, a 2 Chaos Replica Emberwake. A random fire damage ignite chance. Like, the gear is pretty bad. I still need to get the leveling belt, the Stygian, or the strings, whatever it's called, with the resistance. They just go for an exalt right now, which is pretty crazy. But pretty much just wanted to show this off real fast. Like, we're playing Witch mainly for the Malediction. This was the biggest problem I had with the Templar version, is the fact that... No, not that one. No, Plant Frame Bloom, I mean. Not Malediction. Malediction makes so you don't need to take... what's it called? Whispers of Doom. So Whispers of Doom you had to take in the original version, just because you didn't have the extra curse slot, which you need 2 curses with this build. So Malediction solves that problem. Profane Bloom is pretty much the biggest reason why you want to go Witch for Explode, and also the fact that you can get hexproof enemies, because this build against hexproof sucks. And then you have your dex, resistance, and damage. So it's pretty nice overall. Let me show the POB now. Hopefully we don't get the lag. Okay, we're back. For some reason it lags between the two, I don't know why. But this was just a very scuffed POB I put together. You can see I'm at -1 mana reservation. Don't look at these numbers. I don't think that's correct. But pretty much the way I'm built this build together is I want the build to be max Chaos Res with Divine Flesh, max both blocks, spell and attack, max Fizz mitigation, and if you can throw elemental immunity, and if you can throw anything else in there, why not? But I think those are the main ones I'm looking at. Like the tree, like if I get max Chaos Res, I'm gonna have to go this way to put Divine Flesh here, to get Divine Flesh over here for the more ES and more defensive layer, and then probably scale up this way and take away these points, and then take points off most likely right here. But the tree is very scuffed. I gotta play the tree a lot more. So pretty much it's like life resistance, you know, this way, you know, elemental overload, which just adds a lot of damage. Is this skill gonna be needed? Maybe. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna use this or not. It's something I gotta play with to see if I'm gonna use it. You know, your damage over time cluster up here with more elements, dex and strength if you need them. 1 cluster jewel setup. These numbers on here, I have on here, are not correct. They were just something I just threw together just to set up in like an 8 passive, 4 passive type scenario. But pretty much, you know, I'm going to probably most likely do Burning Bright, and I don't know what else combination works, so that I can just take only the 5 passive points here in a double fire node. I don't know exactly. This was just something I threw together at the time being. And then I think to fix the mana, I'm going to have to sadly revert to, where is it at? 2 mana reservations on top, which I don't want to do because it's a lot of damage with not being able to put jewels in there. Is it the best scenario? Probably not. What it's probably going to want to do if I want to be with all the stuff I want on the build. Otherwise, I'll probably just drop spell block, and I'll probably solve the problem. But I think there's something else I want to try real fast. Like that's one setup. You know, going with Malevolence and Determination. The best setup, no, but it gives you an extra 12, 24% mana reservation. Pretty much here is your chaos, the only chaos cluster we're taking. Pretty much for your wither, your chaos damage, and the +1. You know, fire damage over here with fire.multi, your life. Intuitive leap to take more mana, optional. It just saves you 1% more mana. You know, more block, more mana. Your hexes give inflict +10 doom is the most important one to take. Doomsday, so that we can actually trigger a couple seconds. It's easier to show the next video how Doomsday works. I also thought about scaling this way for the second cluster up here. Avoid that, take that off. For the 8% mana reservation here, and then if I wanted to drop Purity of Elements, I had the 25% chance to avoid elements here. I was thinking about going that route. The only problem with it is that you have to use boots. You have to use Shaper boots, which is why I had the base version originally, for the +30 avoid elements, 25 here, and the only other option you have is another 20 off of the shield mastery, which you're still not even capped out without investing more into the build. So that's definitely, I think for now, maybe Pure Elements is just the easier option, and then figure out from there in the future. Your other fire cluster with, I just put recovery. I don't know if you need it or not. I just threw it on there. You know, chaos res, life, vitality, reduce mana reservation, damage, mana reservation, which you have to take. And then from here, I just went this way for more armor, and scaled down here for the extra jewel slot. You know, life, glancing blow, another life wheel, which you probably could drop this one, which I think this is probably what I'm going to drop anyway, because this is level 100 tree. You know, the other block cluster here, just to be max block, a little bit more fire.multi, determination, mana reservation, another jewel slot for a better Watcher's Eye, which I want to try to get, but they're expensive. You know, you can go this way also for another jewel slot up here with Divine Shield, which would be really good. I just don't know correctly what's the best option. Like, I want to get Divine Shield on this build with the jewel slot here, which means you have to cut something somewhere. That's why I figure out what the best POE plan is for this build, because I do not know. Because the only problem is running this setup is that's 2 jewel slots you lose, which means that is a Corrupted Blood spot probably gone, which is going to hurt a lot. Another option too is get the those new jewels that drop from the 2 new end bosses to get Heart of Destruction for more AoE. Unless there's something on the Necromancer that might help, but overall I don't think there is. Because a lot of it deals with corpses, which we don't care about, yeah. Yeah, like unless you take like Blast on Elements maybe, but for an offensive layer, Shaper of Flame maybe, I don't know exactly what the best option is. Yeah, who knows? Like, it's gonna be a lot of things. Like, oils, it's gonna be charisma. It's just, you can't really say no to 16% mana reservation on a build like this. Definitely something I gotta play with though and see. Like, pretty much I had both on here. I don't know which one I'm taking yet, but like Swift Affliction, Inspiration, it's one of those two. You know, like a Temp Chains, Defiance Banner, the Tempest Shield, Vitality, Despair, Flame Dash, the Wither setup. And then this is where I've been playing around the most with the helmet. Like, eventually you want to go Anonymous. Like, Temp Shields. You eventually want to get, like, the Divergent for the crazy spell block. Where are you at? Like, that's why on here, like, I pretty much had Tempest Shield on here just in case you put on how the numbers would jump up or not. It only gives you, like, extra 2% or so, unless you go, like, Divergent. Which will give you a massive, like 10% more, which means you could drop points on the tree. It's just, I don't know what the best setup is. Something's got to be played with more. But eventually you got to figure out on the tree where everything should Fallen, I would say. So I gotta figure out the most between everything. Like, Period Elements I do like for the elemental immunity. That's the only reason, because I hate getting elemental hit, because they do hurt a lot. Malevolence is required. Determination, the armor is nice. Without Determination, you drop down to 66, but you get a lot of mana. Like, one of these 50% auras are pretty much what's going to hurt. Is what makes it the hardest to run the build. Like, another option I'm considering, too, is... I think it's this one, right? Yeah, is putting... I think it's called Arrogance. It's the All Corrupted Blood one. Increase aura effect. I think it's this one. So if you run... Increase life preservation efficiency... Maybe it's this one? So I think it's this one. You don't want this connected, which I don't... Okay, so this screws up the numbers a little bit. It's actually worse. Hold on. Unreserved life, 375. 900. Oh no, it reserves 32% of your life. So it's questionable if Arrogance is good or not. 30%, yeah, whatever. So like Arrogance could be an option. It's not the best option, but it could help with just at least putting one of them on your life. But it depends if you can withstand all of it though. But I'm not 100% sure on Arrogance. It just makes that problem easier to solve. But another option is I might just completely drop Period of Elements and say screw it and just hope I don't die. Or just drop Tempest Shield completely from the build and just be max block but not spell block. A lot of options I gotta play with. A lot of between two is, you know, like 24 is not the worst, but it's not the best. At that point, then you rather just cut all these points off and just say screw it. But it's gotta be seen. But this is just a quick video about what I'm gonna be playing this league as a late league start. I'm hoping it works. You know, all the items on here are complete garbage. Like this is just a fire, burning damage, Spectre. The shield, I didn't look at the stats on this. A +2 helm, a Brass Dome, or Skin of the Lord, which one's better. Skin of the Lord is cheaper. Brass Dome is probably the better option, just because Brass Dome gives you your other effect of the Maven helmet, so that you can actually, doesn't matter which slot you run, you can run the ring and have both effects of Maven. That's the idea behind it, really. Gloves, I only just put a life note on there. Boots, just life and movement speed. You know, I got to put resistance on there. Black Flame. Like, none of the rolls on these are good. Like, they were just complete garbage rolls. I don't have a belt on here even. Flash setup, I don't know what the best one. I put Azuri's originally on here. Random cluster jewels. Like, it's all random, very scuffed. I didn't even do configurations or anything on here. So it definitely needs to be fixed. But we'll see. I'm hoping the build works. I do like Hexblast. It just can't work in this day of stage. I don't know. Especially making it defensive as I'm trying to make it. I'm probably going to have to cut a lot of defensive out of this build, but we'll see. But if anyone's also... I do have another thing actually too. I think I got closed when my computer had to be restarted. So I do have a very basic tree which I'm looking at. Okay, good. For the map pass, so like this is probably my endgame one to start with. This is a Expedition and Legion project, if the build can do Legion. But I think farming the red one is going to be more profitable than the blue one. Just because all the red ones, Forbidden Flames, are worth a lot more than Forbidden Flesh. So that's why I think red one's the better one to farm. I have not seen the new bosses yet. I know something about this has a ball phase, which I heard people say it's really annoying. Blue one I don't know. And then personally, I just like taking the top half up here. So that's just more of a personal choice to me. But like, I don't know exactly. Like, I know early on in the league, I'm going to be taking all the essences, the map ones, the Kira, just to help my mass sustain. Get these up here just to push the maps quickly so I can push from tier 1 to 16 fast as possible. Get all this done and then respect into actual endgame projects. Like this league, we'll probably do some projects with like 60 maps of, you know, Gilded Legion again, with these nodes on the tree. You know, 60 maps of Gilded Breach, with every breach node taken to see how many emblems you can, splinters you get. You know, stuff like that we'll probably do this league to see like projects. We have all this breach stuff, like better chance to try Lulu, Yules, what's it? Marika, Templar, like all that kind of stuff. Even though the price is trash right now, like my loot filter doesn't even show white, orange, or red splinters from Legion because they're so cheap for a full emblem. So it's not even worth me picking them up. But like Strongbox, I know is very good this league. That's why I'm taking the Divination one and Currency one late game and dropping in this one. But one thing I would need to know from anyone who's playing the league already, with the fix to the Void Stones now giving you a 100% chance to drop maps, do you need to take these anymore? Like Shaper of Seas, you know, Shaping of Skies, the Shaping of Mountains that people used to take to help the map sync, how broken it was in the beginning. But with them fixing that, do you need to take all this to sustain your maps? That's one thing I do not know. If anyone does know that, please let, put in the description below so other people can know too. Mainly, do you need to take Shaper of Seas also for the map favor? Like that will change the tree big time. It's just I gotta figure that kind of stuff out. That's one things I don't know. People might know, but all fun to play with. I'm gonna play around this league. I'm hoping this build works out. If this build works, we're gonna be taking this build from the first map all the way to clearing out the whole entire game. Will it work? I hope not. I hope so, but there's also one put out. There's 3 different versions of this build. You have the one I'm playing with the shield and weapon. You have the Cane of Kalamak, which will give you a shit ton of damage, but you're gonna lose, I think, a little bit more defensive layer because you lose a shield. But with the Cane of Kalamak, you can definitely take like all your block chances spells, or with staffs, you have the one down here. There's a lot more options, like 50% up here is really good to take, which I want to try to fit that in the build. Like there's a lot of good options to go like early on, but taking Firewalker. Like the staff version is extremely good. You have the power charge stacking version, which utilizes, Forbidden Power. But that version, like Forbidden Power plus Hard Destruction, is extremely good. That one runs the double void battery setup and all that kind of stuff. That one will give you a shit ton of damage. But you don't need to play Hexblast, that kind of build. Hexblast is more of a niche, fun build to play. That's why I want to try it as League Start. Because we originally was between this or Dex Totems, but Empyrean's playing Dex Totems right now. So I want to stay away from that since bows are meta this league. Why not go off meta right now? And we can always visit the Totem build later, which a lot of people did like that build. So I will probably revisit that build this league with the new gloves that we can craft. Because I know we can make some really good gloves this league, which someone from my guild's playing it, and he showed me a pair of gloves that he already got as a drop, and there's definitely a lot of stuff we can do. But enough rambling from me. I'm going to start the stream and get this going. So hope everyone liked the video. See everyone on the next one.